Hello, kr84all. I saw your video on atheism, family, and children. Uh, Thought I would just chime in. I'm not a parent or anything like that, so all my ideas here are just completely theoretical. But I just thought it might be useful to point out here. I think it's a lot more important to teach your child to be able to think critically than to somehow tell them to be an atheist or somehow convince them not to follow God or something like that. That's um, a, a person. Usually, the best way in which a person can become an atheist is if they arrive at it from their own, on their own, basically. I my last video that I did was about how I became an atheist, and my parents actually essentially taught me to be an atheist right from the very beginning, but it turned out that that by itself was insufficient, and that I was somewhere later on in life I was in real danger of really switching to something like Christianity. But in the end, just I guess I had just barely sufficient reasoning abilities to sort of re-embrace atheism or whatever. But anyways, that's a so the point is, you if you want your daughter to not be trapped by religion, the best antidote for religion is just critical thinking. And so teach your child critical thinking, and hopefully the rest takes care of itself. But if you're worried that that might not be sufficient, you could in fact plant a seed in exactly using exactly an issue that you brought up, namely the whole Santa Claus disclosure thing. So as a parent, you've decided to keep up the pretense that Santa Claus is still around or whatever, but your child is already asking questions about the existence of Santa Claus or not. Somehow or another, I at a very young age, I mean very young, like probably 4 to 5 years old, figured out there was no Santa Claus, and I don't think that scarred me or anything like that. I don't think I was in any way deprived for knowing that I mean, so a person who knows, like even me, who knows that Santa Claus is all fake, can still participate in the whole Christmas thing. It's not a problem. So what I would suggest is that you turn this whole Santa Claus disclosure thing into a project. I mean, she's going to figure it out sooner or later that there is no Santa Claus. Why don't you make that discovery process itself into something to help foster her critical thinking? Like, I mean, you're saying she questions it today. Ask her why she's so sure, right? Like, and I can imagine a conversation maybe between you and your daughter goes something like, well, she says, "Oh, I'm giving you my Christmas list because I know that you can get it to Santa, wink wink." And then you say, "What?" And then you can just respond to her saying, "What, don't you believe that Santa will just, I mean, you could just mail this to Santa, and Santa will get your present." The point is you can play devil's advocate and so on, and just see how it is that she reasons it out. Like maybe at some point she'll just say, "Oh, my friend told me," and then you can ask her, "Well, if your friend tells you things, does that make it true?" And and so on. Or just keep going back and forth, and try to sort of go through each list of logical fallacies, or reason by authority, or reason because someone says so, or other capricious. See if you can foster some kind of critical thinking skills. And I think that by getting her herself to prove that Santa Claus doesn't exist or something like that, it will sort of plant a seed, a seed in her mind about the process of how she might prove or disprove other imaginary things. And so, I mean, the point is you have a whole list of things you can go through. Like, is there a Santa Claus? Is there a tooth fairy? Is there a Easter bunny? So the tooth fairy one is even better, right? Because what you can do is you can insist, oh yes, the truth fairy is there, and the way, I mean, this is Carl Sagan. Apparently, this was his beautiful thing, is that he went off and tested it himself um, by putting teeth under his pillow, but not telling his parents about it, just to see, right? Like in the and so the trick is, can you get your daughter to do something like that, to disprove the tooth fairy or something like that. Um, in any event, by having her, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't want it to be a part of some big lie that you just admit to it eventually or something like that. What you want is for her to figure it out and have her figure out each one by one. And well, anyways, I'm being repetitive and redundant at this point. But anyways, that's really just all I had, and my only suggestion, obviously, is you can take it or leave it. Anyways, tube you later.